I would say all hotels should be or will be using a CDP in the next 5 years. Anybody who wants to truly understand their guests in a real way and talk to them in a personal way and make sure they come back year after year should be looking at a CDP.
So now we are joined by Heather Knutson, Senior Vice President of Sales and Marketing at Ascent360. Thank you for sitting down with us, Heather. How are you doing today?
Doing well. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So this is your first BITAC.
Very first.
What are your first impressions almost midway through?
Are we halfway through already?
Almost.
Yeah.
Feels like it, yeah.
It's been great, the one-on-one time and all of the planning. It's very easy, although I've been at table 4 a lot. I'm not sure why, but all the one-on-one meetings so far have been excellent and a great group of people here so far.
Absolutely. So can you tell us a little bit about what the difference is, what Ascent360 focuses on? What is the difference between a CRM and a CDP?
It's a funny question because it's one of those things, and I'll actually admit something to you guys in this interview. I started 5 years ago working for Ascent360. I had to look up what a CDP was, and I oversee sales and marketing. So, okay, yes, I'm putting this in a podcast. And that tells you something because I've been a marketer for over 25 years and I didn't know. But in a nutshell, I think a best way to describe it is a CRM is a customer relationship management platform, really great for B2B. Direct-to-consumer or B2C, like hotels and resorts, a CDP is perfect, a customer data platform.
Right.
And the difference is a customer data platform is taking all of the guest transactions. It's a living, breathing platform that allows for hyper-segmentation and automation and a lot of efficiencies. So CDP is a little newer. That's why I didn't know what it was. And there's a lot of hotels from my conversations so far that still don't know. And the other thing I'll tell you is a lot of our clients, longtime clients, probably call us a CRM because we serve as much of a CRM purpose as a resort or hotel would need. You can look up your guests. You can see the last time they were there, how much they've spent.
Very cool. I didn't know what a CDP was either. So
You're making me feel better.
now I learned something new.
I didn't either. And so what do you consider, maybe just outside of the acronyms, what do you consider Ascent360?
A true proven CDP, customer data platform. We've been around for over 12 years. We were built for the ski industry 12 years ago, and the ski industry has really complex data. So we've dovetailed into all of hospitality. And I consider us a proven, genuine, real cutting edge CDP. But like I said, some of our clients plug us into their financials, and we're probably as much of a CRM as they need as well. So to me, it's even better than a CRM.
Okay.
Very cool. So I'm a hotelier.
Yeah.
How do I, well, not actually, but hypothetically, how do I know whether I need a CRM or a CDP?
I would say all hotels should be or will be using a CDP in the next 5 years. Anybody who wants to truly understand their guests in a real way and talk to them in a personal way and make sure they come back year after year should be looking at a CDP. It's going to give you different layers of understanding by pulling in all data, not just your PMS, your property management system, but anything in the restaurant, the food and beverage systems, the point of sale there. Maybe there's a point of sale at a golf course. All those layers, it's going to give you all those layers of understanding about your guests. So I would recommend CDP always. But
Yeah, more holistic view of what your guests are doing, spending time and money on.
360-degree view. We like to call it a golden record.
Okay,
Awesome.
Yeah.
that's great. And so what are the biggest challenges that hotels and resorts are facing around really just not only managing, but utilizing their customer data efficiently?
When we sit down, one of the things I see is just disparate systems where I gave you the example, the golf course. The golf course is operating totally independently from the front desk, from the spa, from the restaurant. So I have a really fancy lodge down the street from me, and it almost offends me if they don't know, hey, we
Right.
spent a lot of money at the spa,
Right.
and why do you not know that I'm a local? And we've brought different guests in there. So it's getting all of those systems integrated into one central spot, which is what a CDP does, allowing you to create those golden records. And the beautiful part of a CDP is we don't just dedupe all of that data, so you don't get 2 annoying emails from the same spot, but we enrich it as well with a bunch of aggregates to tell you more things about your guests. So a basic aggregate would be Heather's going to be a female.
Right.
And then there's fancier aggregates from there telling you more things, but I'll start with the basic for that
Very
question.
So one thing we talk about a lot on the podcast, and it's been a big topic of discussion here, is personalization. How can hotels use the data from these different systems to create a more personalized guest experience?
So yeah, perfect question. And using all of that in my example of Heather, it's as much of using that token and the dynamic piece of pulling that in and personalizing to me so that if I get an email, my name is spelled correctly.
Right.
I have a spa that I follow in your neck of the woods that sends me 3 emails because they've got my name spelled incorrectly, and then they've got my maiden name.
Right.
And it's a high-end spa, so it doesn't give a good brand impression. So really, if you're using a guest data platform, a customer data platform, you're cleansing that, you're bringing that in, and you're taking that simple step to make sure it's addressed to me, to Heather in that case, or if I'm traveling with my husband, to Heather and John. And that's the segmentation that we allow within the CDP.
All right. So what are some examples of dynamic automated campaigns that hotels should be using to help drive more revenue?
A very basic example would be a pre-arrival campaign. So using that data coming in from your property management system to know who's checking in,
Right.
and these can automatically be running. So it's personalized to me. Heather's checking in 7 days. So welcome, and getting me to think about being excited and booking more stuff. We do a lot of really complicated, we take different layers of data for passes, whether it's a water park, a ski resort, a golf course, and you can look and see who's traveling with the family. And maybe you've got different types of segmented emails going out where the family image looks different to Heather because she's traveling with her family versus Heather when she's traveling for business. So those are some dynamic. You can also do some dynamic calls to action depending on past purchases or, oh, hey, looks like you like the Thai massage. You haven't booked that yet. So reminding. So some upsells and getting me excited for that stay and spending more money each time I arrive.
Can you share some examples of a hotel or resort that successfully are leveraging a CDP, specifically Ascent 360, and how they're improving the guest experience?
I'm thinking of one in particular. It's a high-end resort that has both a ski resort, a golf course, several restaurants, a very, very fancy spa. And in that case, without sharing the name in this particular case, we're ingesting data from 16 different source systems. So you can imagine the complexity that you get in a CDP versus just a CRM. And that's that we're breaking down all those data silos, pulling that in, and then feeding that all in so you can see who's a skier and a golfer.
Right.
Who travels with their husband and goes to the spa, and how much do you spend, and those preferences. So that's a longtime client that is a more complex example. A lot of examples are probably pulling in 2, 3, 4 sources where you're looking at the food and beverage, the point of sale, and the PMS.
One thing we talk about a lot is staffing shortages. One way we can help with that is automation. So how can automation help hotels improve the guest experience?
That came up in one of my questions here at BITAC today. So I think that's just everybody's understaffed with resources. And so what I'm hearing is because the systems don't talk to each other, they're exporting data out and they're like, oh my gosh, I've got this sea of contacts. I don't know how to create these segments. So they're just like, I just don't email at all, or I send everybody the same email. But they also have to actually make a request from the IT department to get the list of guests. And imagine the time that it takes. And then you go request and okay, now time has passed and maybe you've already missed your opportunity to market. So the CDP is a living, breathing system where you can have the audiences built, these segments, and then all of the emails are in there with the dynamic images, and they're automatically set to go out. So the pre-arrival is going to go out 7 days before I arrive, 3 days before I arrive if I haven't booked a massage. So you're not manually creating emails, it's automatically doing that for you. And the same goes for SMS text. It's an omni-channel platform, so it's got email built in, it's got MMS, SMS built in, and we even have some hotels that use audiences and retarget with the website pixel, and even some old-fashioned direct mail being done as well.
Cool. That's great. And so right along that train of thought, what are some innovative ways hotels are using customer data to refine their marketing strategies?
Retargeting is one that I can think of. So with these audiences built, you can take your best audience and take that segment and then retarget and get some lookalikes on Meta, on social. So that's a way to grow. I gave you a very basic example with pre-arrivals and upsells. One of the examples I like is a lot of independent hotels do weddings,
Right.
but how many look at who's attending the wedding, and if they've got vacancy, why not do a campaign that suggests you make it a staycation and you're having fun, but stay and spend a few more days.
Right.
And if you personally ask me to do that, maybe I consider it, and why not? So those
That
are
makes
more
sense.
sophisticated
Yeah.
examples.
That makes sense.
Especially with bleisure happening right now. Like
Yeah.
that's a perfect example when you can do that, stay a little longer, you're on business, stay a little longer and enjoy yourself.
There you go.
Right? So I'm really interested in this because, we talk to a lot more folks on the independent side. So how can smaller boutique hotels compete with these larger chains when it comes to data-driven guest experiences?
If you're doing a personal campaign, you're inspiring your guests to come back, and they're going to be inspired to book directly back with you. If you treat them, that's my opinion.
Yeah.
If you really let them know, hey, Steve, I saw that you came 2 years for the fall colors up in Lake Placid. You haven't booked yet. I may be more inspired to book directly, even though maybe it even costs a little bit more. But I know you're going to give me an extra benefit when I check in, and that little extra touch means something to me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's those small gestures.
Absolutely.
Right. And if you can expand a little bit more on how a CDP is playing an increasing role in direct bookings and helping hotels get away from the reliance on OTAs.
So one of the things it's a strategy we're testing is just asking some basic questions. OTAs will probably be part of the equation, but you can you can unmask some of that and ask some basic questions. You can train your front desk to get some of the information that doesn't always work perfectly. But asking them some basic questions like, do you prefer the first floor? And if you can get them to respond directly, you can capture that email. You can also incentivize them to book direct the next time. So if you see that they came in on OTA, great, you enjoyed your stay, then maybe next time I'm going to give you an incentive or a discount at the spa. So little things like that. And we have a client success team that works with all of our hotels and resorts, and they're always looking at those strategies and how to optimize all the campaigns running in the CDP. So that's another thing we like to take pride in is we're not just going to set you up and you're off to the races, but we're going to ensure your success.
You bet. So one thing we've talked about is data here, how important it is to AI, how important it is to personalization. But how can hotels use that data to strengthen loyalty programs and retain those high-value guests?
We work with some resorts and hotels who use a loyalty program as well. So you can create segments to your loyalty guests and give them extra perks as well. We've actually had some resorts and hotels replace their program with the CDP. If you're treated in a more special way, in my opinion, who wants to track points anymore? I'd rather have you just welcome me personally and maybe give me a glass of champagne at the front desk if I'm a high-value guest versus trying to get my loyalty number on my phone and remember what that is. And so in some cases, we can complement it, create those segments. And in other cases, we actually do that in lieu of a loyalty program.
What metrics should hotels and resorts be tracking to maximize the guest lifetime value?
So I'll go into one that comes with the Ascend 360 algorithm. So I gave you the basic. We have 50 aggregates. Heather is a female, is a basic aggregate. So one that is more sophisticated is RFM score. So recency, frequency, monetary. We assign every guest in your CDP a score based on when's the last time they've been there, how recently have they been there, how frequently do they go to your hotel, how much do they spend, and it's based on quintiles 1 through 5. So 555 would be a high value guest, and you should absolutely be tracking that because probably they're spending 80% of the sales, and you should be making sure if they haven't been there in 2 years that you see why they're lapsed. But that's probably a good example of a more sophisticated item to track.
Okay, great.
That's great. Well, Heather, we appreciate you sitting down with us, taking time out of your event. Can you tell anybody who's listening how to get a hold of you, how to learn about Ascend 360?
Well, that sounds good. Heather Knutson, and you can email me personally, hknutson@ascend360.com. We'd love to talk to all hotels, resorts, anybody in hospitality, and thanks for your time as well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You made it to the end of The Modern Hotelier. Thanks for watching or listening. The Modern Hotelier is produced by Modern Hotelier Media. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're listening on YouTube, or subscribe wherever you get your podcast. If you know a good guest, sponsor, or have media needs, feel free to reach out to us at hello@themodernhotelier.com. Thanks and have a great day.